So hey guys, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video on camera edition. I'm back once again on your screen. Hope you guys miss me. We have a lot of good topics that's been going on. I've been trying to keep up, y'all. When I tell you, as soon as I'm like, okay, I put out some content, let me relax, boom, it's something else that hits us. So as y'all know, there's been a lot of crazy news stories going on. So I decided to do another compilation, one of my favorite segments on this channel, just to kind of sum up everything. So on the docket tonight, we have Tory Lanez being sentenced to 10 years in prison. This to me is not a shock. However, I do think that a lot of people were kind of rooting for maybe a different type of sentencing. And I think this puts things into perspective for this entire situation where everybody who's involved, life is pretty much changed forever. Next, we have the Alabama boat brawl, which has been the talk of the town. As y'all probably heard, down in Montgomery, Alabama, they had basically a race battle. It almost looked like a revolt. It was white against black. It started off with some racial tendencies and it got pretty violent. We'll get to that. And then lastly, everybody's favorite, or maybe not favorite, Instagram flexer from back in I think 2018, Lil Tay. It was announced that she had passed away a few days ago, just for people to find out the very next day that it's a hoax. It's giving Carly Russell 2.0. So y'all know what to do. Just number the stories. Y'all usually just comment whatever. I try to read as much as I can, but comment down below on your favorite topic, if not all of them, and let's get the conversation going. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So up first on our docket is Tory Lanez basically going to jail. We all saw this coming. I will say, I don't even think there's much to talk about this. This doesn't even need to be some long drawn out segment because I saw this coming. I knew it from jump. And I think what's the most interesting part about this is I don't think this would have been Tory's fate had he not done certain things. I personally feel like this is the consequence of being evil, or shall I say just being a bad person, because everything you do in life will eventually catch up to you. I don't know why people think that they can evade the energy that they put out or evade karma. I saw this coming. I do think that within looking at the entire investigation, the entire trial, everything within that case was worth considering. There's a lot of people who are either fans of Meg Thee Stallion or fans of Tory, and they feel like, oh, what does this have to do with the case? Why does it matter if she was sleeping with this person? Why does it matter if Tory was with these two girls? That's on them. I feel like if we're trying to find a motive as to why this could have happened, all of that mattered. You can't use your personal feelings about whomever you liked in the situation to disregard the actual investigation and the actual facts. If somebody detonated a firearm, there has to be an investigation as to who did it, why they did it, what were the circumstances. That way you're not just being charged with first degree attempted murder or second degree or third degree. All of that stuff plays a role, and it honestly comes down to what they find during the investigation. So I think for a lot of people, they feel because Meg Thee Stallion kind of went about her life after this all happened and she seemed fine, that it couldn't have been that serious. And I feel like that is the problem with society. We just want, in this case, Black women to be like the bottom of all suffering. It's like society doesn't care if we're suffering, and then society also doesn't care if we're not suffering enough. And my problem with that is, at the end of the day, somebody got hurt, okay? And there's a reason why somebody got hurt, and it had to do with a lot of different factors. Obviously, alcohol was involved, emotions were involved, people's egos were involved, and it led to a very tumultuous situation. From day one, I have said I believe that Tory did it. From day one, I have said that I believe Meg. From day one, I have supported Meg. And when the story started to waver, I'm like, okay, I will consider all these facts because it does matter. But he was found guilty in a court of law. He had priors. He was also a felon. He's also not American. There were so many things to consider as to why he got his sentencing. Are y'all not considering the fact that this is a violent crime? Are y'all not considering the fact that he had several prior issues? At the end of the day, Tory Lanez got exactly what was coming for him. And it's very unfortunate because, like I said, it did not have to go this way. I feel as though if Tory didn't aggravate the situation after the fact and kind of use it as a means to make money, a means to make music, a means to just kind of keep himself relevant or talk about something dramatic, then he probably would not have been in this position. But that ego, which is something that a lot of people got to check these days, that ego is the reason why he's in this position now. And it's honestly sad, being that he's a dad, he has to be away from his kid, he has a career, he has to be away from his career. But at the same time, it's not, because when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And what I don't like is the fact that a lot of people are trying to make it seem like Meg just went to the police and snitched on him and cooperated and this, that, and the third. Are we forgetting that Meg Thee Stallion initially lied in the beginning because she was trying to protect Tory and she didn't want police involved? This happened in 2020, which was the height of racial tension in the United States with the George Floyd case. So that's why she didn't initially come out with this stuff. But eventually, when you start poking the bear and you start putting disses in your songs and you try to make it seem like that's not the case of what happened, of course, someone's gonna look at you and say, all right, well, the gig is up. The state pursued this legal case. Meg did not pursue legal charges on him. He was indicted by the state. Honestly, I feel as though once a gun goes off, the police are gonna come looking for who and what happened, because that's now a threat to society. So I saw a few things online that I wanted to read to y'all because I completely agree, or they just were good talking points. Somebody had tweeted, said, just in, Tory Lanez has been sentenced to 10 years in prison for shooting Meg Thee Stallion. Someone then says, still don't think I've ever seen self-sabotage like this before. She didn't press charges and lied to protect him. And so he went on a strange campaign of trashing her in public, only for the state to then charge him and for it to end up like this. Never had to happen. And this is like complete facts, because it never had to be this way. Both of them probably would have just stopped talking, no longer been friends, and went about their way to do whatever they do in their careers. However, when you let your ego preside over actually being a moral person and being a good friend, he kept throwing around that friend word. They said they were friends. How could you really be my friend if this is what you decide to do after you inflicted some type of harm on me, whether it was intentional or not? So another person on Instagram said, so the gun wasn't his? He didn't shoot it at all? If he did, he should tell who did. This is how I know y'all don't read books either. Be mad at the DA and the judge. They chose to bring the charges because a weapon was discharged. Anytime a weapon is discharged, the authorities are coming and they'll investigate. Secondly, she said he did it and she identified her abuser. To tell someone something didn't happen to them is dirty business. Thirdly, this man has shown countless times he's impulsive, meaning acting or done without forethought. Drake, August Alsina, Jacquees, Joyner Lucas. Hell, he didn't hit some of them, but he sure as hell hit August Alsina, but nobody want to talk about that. How long before an impulsive person turns on you and you be the next victim or person to be seriously hurt or even dead? If he would have killed the girl, would y'all have been happier? That's how I know y'all hate women, not just black women, but women in general. We need to stay away from y'all. And I feel like this message just applies to some men in our community, because it's like, why are we trying to prove that he's innocent? He's obviously been found guilty. And yes, you can say there are thousands of different people who go to jail every year who are innocent, who are sitting in prison and they're innocent. Of course, those cases are very obvious and very much a thing. However, I feel like if this investigation took as long as it did for them to determine this information, there had to be some type of way to say, okay, he did it. I mean, let's be real. He made a song. Let's not forget the jail call. And I feel like if it wasn't him, why haven't you said it was somebody else? I mean, it was only two people that it could have been. So, I mean, for Tory Lanez, is it unfortunate? Yes, because everybody's life is affected. But at the same time, I don't have much empathy because I felt like this was very preventable. So then lastly, Tory Lanez decides to make a statement. Here's what he had to say from behind bars. Tory says, to the umbrellas, I have never let a hard time intimidate me. I will never ever let no jail time eliminate me. Regardless of how they try to spin my words, I have always maintained my innocence and I always will. This week in court, I took responsibility for an all verbal and intimate moment that I shared with the parties involved. That's it. In no way, shape, or form was I apologizing for the charges I'm being wrongfully convicted of. I remain on the stance that I refuse to apologize for something that I did not do. I faced adversity my whole life, and every time it looked like I would lose, I came out on top. This is nothing but another moment where my back is against the wall, and I refuse to stop fighting till I come out victorious. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. To my family, friends, and umbrellas, thank you for your continued support. See you soon. Now, I feel like there was really no accountability in that. Maybe he really does feel that he's innocent. There was another statement that he said that if he did do it, he was drunk or he just wasn't all the way there. So it's like, I'm not gonna say that's admittance of guilt, but it kind of sounds like it is if you ask me. So I don't know. I just think that this is exactly what he deserves. I mean, I hate to see a black man be incarcerated, but when you're being violent against black women in any way, shape, or form, and you thought you could get brownie points for saying that you smashed two best friends and you tried to showboat yourself, as well as, let's not forget, having other violent incidents during this trial. I mean, he literally fought August Alsina for no reason. I kind of feel like all of that kind of plays a role as to why you're going to be in jail for the next 10 years. There was some talks about Tory possibly getting off early with good behavior. I think it's very possible. I don't think he's going to serve the whole 10 years. However, for right now, it is what it is. Tory, you got locked up. You played a stupid game. You won a stupid prize. It is what it is. So going on to our next story, it is the Alabama riverboat brawl. Y'all have been asking me to talk about this. I have been honestly laughing at all of the memes, all of the remakes, the new songs. Everybody has been talking about this. The folding chair memes have been cracking me up. So what took place was that there was, I guess, maybe just a weekend of celebration at a river area in Montgomery, Alabama. And there was a boat, and it was like a white family, I'm assuming, and they were blocking the docking deck of where other boats are gonna dock passengers. So when this other boat full of, I'm assuming, all black people are pulling up, the security guard walks over to the boat owners and says, hey, can you move your boat? They start saying no. They start acting all hostile. They start being racist, apparently called him the N-word. And then after that, they tried to jump him. Now, I truly think the white men in this situation were just very, 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 very drunk and racist at the same time, because it's like, what would provoke you to just not do what you're told? I mean, it's not like anybody came to you and said, hey, get the F out of here, and just tried to be all mean. No, he respectfully asked you to move the boat because you're blocking where other passengers have to get off their boat. So why not move? However, another example of playing stupid games and winning stupid prizes, because that's what happened. So as soon as one white man starts fighting the security guard, here comes another white man fighting the security guard, then another white man, then a white woman. And then there were just bystanders, black male bystanders, who saw what was going on and came to aid and assist the security guard, and it turned into a whole shebang. I feel like this goes to show how potent racism is in America, as well as the egotistical, again, aura that a lot of people have. I mean, I've never lived in the South. I barely go to the South. I've been to Texas. I plan to move to Texas next year, like I've told y'all. And again, is it Dallas or Houston? Which one should I do? But anyway, I've never been in the South. You know, racism up here in the north part of the United States, maybe the Midwest and the Northeast, is not as potent as it could be in the South, because the South has a lot of racial history down there. So that's just a whole triggering concept of really being belittled just for doing your job. But as y'all can see, people took care of the situation. I'm not gonna say that I like seeing black people be violent, but in this case, I did like to see the unity, because if we bond together as black people, no matter where we're from in the diaspora, we can definitely make noise and definitely stand up for ourselves. One thing I didn't like was people saying we are not our ancestors. Now, obviously, I'm Nigerian American. I was born here in America, so I don't share the same ancestral lineage as black Americans, but I still really don't like when people say we are not our ancestors, because what do you mean? The ancestors of black Americans here in the States did a lot of protesting, a lot of violent and non-violent movements, a lot of legislation changes, a lot of everything to make sure that those of us that are black now here in the United States, whether we came from here, there, or this is where we were born, we could have the right to coexist. Of course, everything is not perfect. The civil rights movement wasn't even, 60, 70 years ago? So a lot has happened, but we're still a work in progress. The ancestors did a lot for black people to coexist in this country. So I don't like how people were saying, yeah, we're not our ancestors. We're definitely gonna handle things with violence. And I'm like, do you really think your ancestors just sat around and did nothing? It was a complete different time, but I hate when people say that. So the good news is that all of the main people that were involved have been arrested. Their mugshots look crazy. They all look pale and pasty as hell. And that's what they deserve. I mean, I could not understand how they jumped somebody for doing their job. That is completely asinine. What do white people want us to do? I mean, you can't choose the skin color that you're born in. We cannot erase the history that white people created. What do they want us to do? Like, why are white people racists? It doesn't make any sense to me. You guys are the prioritized demographic in this country and many other countries. You're not superior by any means, but you definitely have more of a power amongst. So it's like, what do y'all want us to do? A lot of black people have been trying their best to break generational curses and, come out of the BS, honestly, that has been set aside for them by white people. And this is the treatment that black people get. I think it's good for them that they all got arrested and charged. I hear a lot of them lost their jobs. Good for them. They should never be able to work, and they should never be able to coexist with others if that's how they're going to treat individuals. I also saw on TikTok that when they got to the hospital, because obviously they got their ass whooped, that all of the nurses and staff members there were black. And then they called the police and said, hey, everybody in here is black. And the police literally told them, I mean, you could either get treated or leave. And they left. Like, how racist can you be? So I hope that Montgomery, Alabama pursues all charges to the fullest extent. I hope they actually serve jail time. I don't want them paying a $500 fine. Serve that jail time and sit in there with them other inmates who may be black. As for the folding chair, I bet you every folding chair in America has seen a 100% increase in terms of sales. And I thought it was crazy how black people can also make light of situations and turn it into something funny. But I don't necessarily condone violence, but I do understand for what this was. The white people started with the violence and black people answered. It was what it was. It was almost like I was watching like a point in history, some type of revolution, like this is gonna go down in history for a long time. It was just not necessarily happy for me to see, but I was happy that what they gave was met with the same energy and the white people went to jail. It is what it is. Again, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So the last story is about Lil Tay, who was, I guess, everybody's favorite, or again, not favorite, then childhood flexer. About 5 years ago, Lil Tay was a little girl whose mother posted videos of her flexing. Her mother and brother basically pimped her out, let's be real, where she would be flexing all this money, all these cars, all these houses, and it made people think, where the hell does she have the money to do all of this? Like where, how, who? I would have been asking all the questions. And then eventually we find out that the mother is a realtor and she had no authorization to allow her child to be filmed using cars and properties for their internet scheme, which was to build clout and possibly make money. I mean, Lil Tay was such a huge sensation at that time. And I feel like this is child exploitation, because why did you put your 9-year-old daughter on the internet to have her imitate this very ignorant and very disrespectful, I guess you could say, persona of what, rappers? And then you're doing it in a way where you don't even own those items. Like that didn't even belong to you. The mother, who's a realtor, had no authorization from her boss to even use those cars, use those houses and all of those properties. And then I think when people started to realize it was a facade, that's when they kind of drew back and we hadn't heard from her since. I remember Lil Tay quitting the internet and I was like, good, because honestly, I work on social media and I just don't think children should be on here. I don't think it's a place for kids unless things stay in a kid's place. But there's so many weirdos on the internet that have access and get off on childlike content that I don't know, like I don't see myself allowing my children to have their own social medias until a certain age. They can be posted on my stuff, but I'm on the behind the scenes end and I know what happens here. So now Lil Tay is 14 years old and recently it came out that she had passed away and everybody was like, wow, like that's really unfortunate that she was exploited by her family. She literally had to quit social media. It was also alleged that her dad was abusing her. So people actually had sympathy for the fact that this little girl didn't even get to see the fruits of her labor, or maybe in the next few years kind of look back in retrospect and say, wow, like this is what was really going on. This is what really prompted me. And then after all of this mourning and all of these videos, the next thing you know, it's a hoax. And the reason why I didn't jump to do this is because I don't understand why people jump to talk about things when the whole context and the whole story has not been released. I saw so many people making videos and I'm like, so y'all don't be waiting? Like y'all don't be waiting to see like what's really going on? Because if people had questions about it, especially following that Carly Russell situation that happened a few weeks back, I feel like that was enough for me to say, let me wait and see. So like I said, all of a sudden, baby is no longer passed. And I'm like, okay, I kind of knew that. And they were initially saying that her and her brother passed away. And back in 2018, he was 16. So now that it's 5 years later, he would have to be 21. So I'm like, wow, a 21-year-old young man lost his life and so did a 14-year-old girl. That's really unfortunate. And they were saying that they had passed away on a jet ski, like a jet ski accident. But when the news came out that she hadn't passed away, I'm like, okay, so clout, because it's giving clout chasing. I truly believe this was for clout. And people are saying that it was her brother who was behind this, who compromised her page. Her page was hacked, and that this was to kind of resurge her relevance in 2023. And I feel like that was stupid because all y'all had to do was come back on the internet. She was relevant enough in 2018 where people would be like, damn, what happened to her? Where is she now? And she would have been able to rebuild her career, probably in a better light because she's a child still and people would have had sympathy. So y'all didn't even have to go this route. But you see how clout and attention really, really sickens people's brains. I've been telling y'all, watch out. There's a lot of people out here that really get off on this. The dopamine hits that they get to their brain is like a drug, and attention, clout, fame, money, all of that stuff really drives people. One other thing that I thought was weird is that y'all really went overboard to disrespectfully emulate the black male rapper slang and lifestyle. Y'all really tried to use blackness to exploit a child, and then when it blew up in your face, now this is your next step. Pathetic, very much pathetic. So the family did release a statement to TMZ in regards to her not being dead, and this is what they had to say. So according to TMZ, it says, social media personality Lil Tay is very much still alive, claiming her Instagram account was compromised and used to spread jarring misinformation about her and her brother's death. In a statement provided to TMZ from Tay's family, she tells TMZ, I want to make it clear that my brother and I are safe and alive, but I'm completely heartbroken and struggling to even find the right words to say. It's been a very traumatizing 24 hours. All day yesterday, I was bombarded with endless heartbreaking and tearful phone calls from loved ones, all while trying to sort out this mess. She also says, my Instagram account was compromised by a third party and used to spread jarring information and rumors rumors regarding me to the point that even my name was wrong. My legal name is Tayan, not Clear Hope. That is crazy to me that this is what the situation is. So I'll leave it up to y'all. Do y'all think she's telling the truth where a third party did this, or do you think this is in-house? I think it's in-house because honestly, nobody at all was talking about this girl, let alone caring about the situation. So how do we go from we haven't talked about you in years to all of a sudden you pass away? It just seems a little bit too coincidental, and I don't really believe in coincidences like that. I really hope that she's in therapy because I feel like to be exploited at such a young age where you were literally a recognizable figure, rappers, athletes, other social media stars were gassing her up, were kind of embracing her, and that's not an environment for a little girl to be around. I mean, I even saw the situation with Finesse 2 Times bringing out his artist who's like a 6, 7, 8-year-old little boy, and he's out on stage and he's just going in and talking about all these grown men things. And it's like, why are we exploiting these children? Why does everyone say protect women and girls, protect children, and nobody ever does it? Come on now, like these are kids, these are young people who are gonna grow up and have to live with all of this stuff. And with it being on social media, it makes it 10 times worse because there's always gonna be a record of what has already transpired. So it's really sinister to me that this is the reality of the situation. I hope they really do investigate this because I would like to know an update on how this even happened. I don't think it was a third party. I think this was from in-house. So all in all with these situations, I think the thesis and the theme is clout is one hell of a drug, and if you play stupid games, you'll win stupid prizes. Tory Lanez played a game with his life and his reputation, and now he's sitting in jail. The white people from the Alabama RiverBoat Brawl, they played a stupid game. They thought that they could just be puffed up and have a Johnny Bravo chest and think they're the best, and they effed around and found out. And then with Lil Tay, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I feel like with the mother, the father, the brother, they played the stupid game of exploiting their child. And then when it all blew up in their face, they wanted to just hide and make it seem like it never happened. And to me, it's like, why are people so gung-ho on attention? Why are people so enamored by celebrity? Why do people prioritize putting other people down or thinking that you're better than somebody or thinking you're over somebody just so that you could reap the benefits? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ceremony out on all platforms, and my new song Let's Go is dropping. It's dropping really soon. Are y'all ready? And lastly, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye y'all.
Let's go, everybody take note. Here's Queen Chioma reppin' Africa, West Coast. Hear my song on your waist, everybody get low. Got all my dogs with me like they out of Petco. Let's go, let's go.